Hello friends, what's up? I'm the Wizard Pirate, and I'm here to bring you some Crowfall news from this week. So nothing has really happened that's amazingly exciting. They had the stuff about the Confessor, and they had a little thing talking about Yomi, which is like knowing stuff about the other players in the game. So we'll get into that in a second, but let's start with the Confessor stuff. So all the ideas in this update isn't final, and it will change before the game comes out, so just know that if you don't like them or if they're kind of weird or anything, because I know pretty soon the pre-alpha testing will start coming up, so you guys will be able to check, well, not you guys, but like other people will be able to check them out, and we'll probably be able to get some in-game footage pretty soon. All the Confessor's powers are mainly ranged attack, and really a lot of projectiles involved with them, so like flame balls, and I'll get to that in a second. The Confessor's primary attack, which is your left click on your mouse, throws a fireball that explodes when it hits something, or when it runs when its lifespan is over, which is like a certain amount of time. The blast radius is small, but it will do damage to one or two characters if they're in that radius. Yeah, so getting hit by this attack will give you a stackable debuff called Sin, which is needed to trigger effects and other powers. His or her right click is Zealot's Rush, which uses stamina to quickly slide your character 10 meters in whatever direction you want, and you can decide that direction with your WASD keys, which I guess is your movable stuff in the game. The Confessor's iframe powers, iframe powers are ones that let you do damage to other people, but you can't take damage yourself while you're doing that attack for a small amount of time. Is Emulsion, and this makes her invulnerable to attacks, as well as removing her from physics and debuffs, letting her roam freely for 5 seconds, casting other spells. One of her passive powers is Retaliate, which makes her jump back when she is knocked down, damaging other characters in a small radius around the character, which the knight also has this. There'll be a card up there, so if you want to see the last one. The other is Righteousness, which damages one of your targets to heal a small amount of your own damage. Sprint is also available for the Confessor. I also talked about in the other video. The first power on the power tray is Flame of Truth, which applies a debuff to your opponent for 10 seconds, which does nothing for that time. But when the time runs out on that character, or for the debuff, the character takes damage and is paralyzed for 3 seconds, so he can't move. The Confessor's Meteor Purge is a hold to charge one. So at 66% of the max of how long you can hold it, the meteor in her hand becomes a large one and is slower, but causes more damage when it hits. Absolution is another power that removes all sin from your opponent, but replaces it with fire. And if you have more than 5 sins stacked on that character, the target will also be snared by 50% for 15 seconds. Condemnation is one of her powers that releases a flamethrower-like cone that she can control for 15 seconds. The damage another character gets can increase with how many sins that debuffs she has put on that character. The last attack, the Confessor has this Fervor, which is the character's main way of getting mana back. How it works, she rips a page out of her book, each time reducing the physical magnations by 15%, but then giving her mana back. So the second part of this is Yomi's Spies of the Mind, and this didn't really say anything important to the game itself. It was talking about how it's important for an MMO or any type of game to kind of realize what your character's, your opponent's style of playing is, and how you can kind of predict what they're going to do next, so you can kind of counter that in a way. So they kind of talked about this guy who's written 2 or 3 books, I think, and kind of talking about that. And he's actually, I think he was in the US team for Street Fighter a few years ago. That's really cool. So yeah, so Yomi is kind of knowing what your opponent is going to do next. So that's all they had this week. Nothing really exciting, but some interesting stuff. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content like this, as well as Pirate 101 content. I've been doing some hatching videos, or I will be. I've done one so far. There's also another Wizard 101 video coming out, and I'll probably do a few more random ones coming up in the future. The Pirate 101 test realm is up right now with ranked PvP. So if you guys want to see me do that, just let me know in the comments, and I shall see you guys later. Bye.